Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy, Mr. M.A. Double. If you don't know the play, be it just because you ain't in the huddle. Now, real quick, people. What's up with this Drake album? Like, everybody has been talking about this Drake album, but not in a good way. Um, I've been listening to the media outlets and different things like that, and Drake drops his album just, all of a sudden. I necessarily don't follow Drake to know when he does or doesn't drop, like no freaky. But I guess people were waiting and anticipating this album, for my dogs, for all my dogs. Now, the way they talking about this album, it don't sound like it's for the dogs. Like me personally, I went on there and listened to a couple songs. Now let's be honest. Respectfully, I don't really like Drake, but Drake is liked, if that makes sense. So when I hear Drake on different songs with 21 Savage and The Weeknd and Wayne and stuff like that, that's a different type of Drake for me. But this solo Drake, this little Yachty Drake, I don't know nothing about that Drake. Like, I haven't followed Drake's career enough to be concerned with the type of music he drops. I just pay attention to when he drops something and it's hot. But this little Yachty Drake is different. Like people not feeling this Yachty Drake. The fingernails and different stuff like that. People not feeling that. And me personally, as a mediocre Drake fan, I'm not in favor of that either. You see what I'm saying? Like it don't make sense. It do not make sense for Drake to be this elite rapper in the industry overall across the world. Everybody know Drake, but for some reason he feel like instead of innovating, he needs to be influenced. Now that's the difference. Drake is at a level where he should be innovating and not being influenced. And I feel like that's the overall perception of this For All My Dog album. So, like I said, I listened to a few songs on there. I necessarily didn't care for it. I don't like the singing Drake. I like when Drake get on them club type vibes. When he get with the Migos and everything like that, then he'll go down south. He'll switch the vibe up and be on some down south type. I like that Drake. I like the versatile Drake, but the singing Drake, the little Yachty Drake, yeah, no, I'm not with that. And so I was looking at this picture right here, and I'll just say, it, it, with Drake being closer to 40 than not, it's just surprising to see him with clips in his hair. Like, you know, with you being the GOAT, this is not the image that you want to be your last image that we look at you as. Like, when we see you as the GOAT, this is not what we're, not the picture or the idea of the GOAT that we're looking at or that we would see as Drake being the GOAT, if that makes sense. And so, to me, I just feel like it's inconsistent with the layout of his projects, because I felt like the last two projects was gaining momentum, and then for this to be highly anticipated, it do the numbers that it was expected to do, but the content of the album is dissatisfying. I haven't heard not one person say, "Oh, have you heard Drake's new album? It's fire." People will say Drake dropped the album, but nobody is saying, "Have you heard Drake's new album?" Because respectfully, it's probably nothing on there that the dogs actually want to hear. I mean, that's just me, um, understanding the concept of music, being in the Midwest, getting in the perception from the West Coast, getting feedback from the East Coast, down South. Nobody in the South is talking about this Drake album. They don't like that type of stuff. They more worried about Julio getting his foot shot off. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's worried about this Drake album. So he did the numbers and tied, I think, with Michael Jackson. Something they were saying Drake has dropped as many uh chart topping albums as Michael Jackson and different things like that. But at the end of the day, look, people, Drake is who he is. He's not perfect. They're comparing him to Taylor Swift right now, and it's just like at this point, we like the music. We like the music. We want to make sure that you stay solid. Make sure you stay grounded. We trying to hear the nice beats. We trying to hear the bars. We trying to go to the club, turn up. You know what I'm saying? Sliding in our whips, trying to turn up. Nobody can slide around to this Drake album. How can this album be called For My Dogs and nobody would be sliding around to this Drake album? A car full of dogs is not about to be sliding to this. Respectfully. You know what I'm saying? Lover boy and all that stuff. Like, we understand the sentiment, but when you come out with something that says for all my dogs, we expecting something for the dogs. Like, where's the dog in Drake? Like, there was no dog in Drake. This was a little yachty, metrosexual type of vibe. Like, very metrosexual type of vibes on this particular album. This is something that you probably would get your toenails painted to. You see what I'm saying? Like, respectfully, this is something that you could dead ass get your hair braided with some little beads at the back of it too. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of music that you can go get your ex-girlfriend's tattoo removed. It's this type of music. Where they put you in that vibe. And that's not the vibe that the dogs be in. It's 2023. That's not our vibe, Drake. So, respectfully, he's still top elite in all aspects of the rap, except compared to Wayne and, the Jay-Z's and the Eminems and things like that. Drake hasn't necessarily reached that caliber for them to be comparing him to Taylor Swift because it's a certain threshold that he hasn't uh, crossed yet. When it comes to the Hoves, when it comes to the Waynes, when it comes to quite a few of these rappers out here that still can get on this internet and pop their shit when it comes to their influence over Drake. It's quite a few of them. At least about 10 to 15 that if they really wanted to pop their shit and just jump out the window, like Drake wouldn't have nothing to say. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just my take on it. I've been seeing a lot of people discussing this album for all my dogs, and I'm not sure what type of dogs Drake got. This ain't for no Rottweilers. This ain't for no pit bulls or no Dobermans. This ain't for no type of dog that got aggression to it. This is for like a golden retriever. This is the exact type of music that you can walk through the park with a golden retriever, right? And you gonna have a casual Sunday afternoon listening to this Drake album for all my dogs. You could walk a lot of dogs to this type of music, but sliding to it, turning up for the club, no. Respectfully, it ain't that. And I haven't heard not one person across the board from all the different outlets to No Jumper, DJ Academics, Joe Budden. Nobody liked this album. So, of course, I got to speak on it. Got to raise my content. Let y'all know my perspective as well. Like, I'm in agreement. I'm not following suit, not none of that. I'm just saying from the east to the mid to the west, nobody liked this album. But the kids bought it. The kids that follow Bobby, the kids that follow Little Drake, I mean not Little Drake, Lil Yachty, like, and probably Lil Drake too. You never know. Like, they all purchased this album. That's why it streamed and did the type of numbers that it was supposed to do. He captured the crowd that he was trying to capture. But with us having followed Drake for about 10 years now, this is not what we expected as long-term fans. Like, I don't know. So with me, I'm like a 65% Drake fan because he's so controversial. I won't say controversial, but he's so hit or miss with the type of music that I enjoy. Let's be real. Like, respectfully, he's just hit or miss with the type of music I enjoy. So I'm only 65% of a Drake fan. And that 65% is probably the only time that I can appreciate his music. Other than that, I don't be in my feelings like that. So, you know, it is what it is. It's the boy Mr. M.A. Double. If you don't know the play, bitch, it's because you ain't in the huddle. What?